nervous?
No.
Where's your answer?
Dennis Beckham, let the ball on! Dennis Beckham! Dennis Beckham! Dennis Beckham! Dennis Beckham! Oh!
Oh, no! Oh, yes! He missed it.
Welcome to the Suffering from Joy podcast. My name's Devin, 2026 edition. We got some nice wintry weather. Figure we'll bundle up and do a good episode of things that have gone on since the last time we talked to y'all. So we're going to start with Brad. How have you been enjoying your winter vacation?
Woo, the Broncos! Woo! Pretty much like that.
Okay, yeah. A little bit of possibly broken ankle on a kneel down, maybe the play before situation.
It was on the sweep. It was on the sweep.
Okay.
The run about 2 days. The funny thing is, and we'll get more into it because I was actually there, but yeah, he broke it and then still threw a pass that ended up in a pass interference on the 5-yard line. So like it means he threw like a 40-yard bomb on a broken ankle, which is crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a whirlwind couple months for you, and like you said, we'll get into it, but you go from not cheering for Auburn to cheering for Auburn to cheering for an Auburn quarterback, cheering for a different Auburn quarterback. It's a whole mess. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
A lot of ins, a lot of outs. Also with us today, Scott, how are you enjoying your winter vacation?
I'm enjoying it quite a bit, actually. It's always nice to wake up to some ice and snow outside, and Carrick ball is back, and we're never going to lose again.
Yes, we were recording before the game, and I actually just put money on Arsenal not winning. So we're going full hedge here.
Yeah, well, I mean, between that and Dorking, I've been having a lot of joy, so that's been good.
Oh, what's going on with Dorking?
I mean, they're up to, I think they're up to, I'm sorry, they're 2 points out of first now, I believe. And I recently became a part owner, and I own shares now. And I think I might have been the first person to ever buy shares in a football club through Apple Pay, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I called Guinness, and they've not gotten back to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're probably, off for the weekend, lazy Europeans. Yeah, but they are, I believe we looked, and they're tied for second. They're below a couple other teams on goal difference, but 2 points out of first. As we all know, the National League South, only the top spot gets an automatic promotion. The next 6 go into playoff spots. So, getting that top spot would be nice, but it's good to see that there's some Apple Pay related ownership going on here.
Yeah, big match coming up we have to figure out, I think it'll be the third time that this like Horncastle match, who's leading the league, will have to be, or Hornchurch, I should say, like that match has to be rescheduled because the first time they were playing in the FA Trophy, but then Horncastle's pitch got frozen and they should have just played the regular match, but they didn't because Dorky had already scheduled a friendly and then they had to reschedule for the next week. That's when the FA Trophy was rescheduled. I don't know when the match is rescheduled for a third time, but I'm sure there will be some like 40-mile-an-hour winds in the country of England can't function.
Yeah, or like
I mean, you just got to commit to the bid at this point. Like,
oh, yeah, I watched whatever the exhibition they rescheduled instead was, and whoever they were playing, I think it might have been the U23s plus a couple other guys showed up, and Carl Jenkinson, who was a terrible wingback for Arsenal like 10 years ago, scored a goal, and I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing playing here? Like, he went to Australia and played for, I think, Newcastle Jets for a while, and I was like, what are you doing in the English 6th Division U23 team setup? What is going on here?
So like my joy here is like when Josh Sargent is currently stuck with the Norwich U21s, is when players who are over age are stuck with underage teams. It's just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. It's like when you see the 38-year-old reliever on a rehab assignment in AA with a bunch of kids who can't legally drink.
Yeah. I got to see Pedro Martinez pitch in single A ball once. That was fun.
Nice. Yeah, I think my dad said he saw Manny Ramirez for the Albuquerque Isotopes whenever he was doing rehab when he played for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I saw him play I forgot exactly who it was, but Manny played here in Round Rock against someone and then hit like 2 bombs that day. It was a good time.
Yeah. Going back to the Round Rock Stadium in about a month and a half, got more banana ball on the table. All right, last up, I guess. Seth, what have you been doing on your winter vacation?
Let's see. I've been traveling all over the world per usual, just watching every one of my teams stink in their own unique way. But like that's part of the podcast here. Oh, I also got engaged, so that's
Woo!
nice.
Yay,
Like,
Seth!
Hey, welcome to the club!
yay. So like yay adulting and figuring out all of that fun stuff in the next few months ahead of navigating US, India, all sorts of types of wedding stuff. So we'll see. I might be absent for a few times because of navigating all this fun stuff, but yay, it's exciting.
Sorry, ladies, the entire panel now is off the block. I want to tell you.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of the few things that all four of us have done now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seth's still in designated survivor mode though. For now, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, my winter vacation, we have a guy out on medical leave, so I've literally done nothing but work since Halloween. So cool, I'm done and I'm easy. Uh, let's get started. There's some team news. We'll start with Austin FC and then get into the nonsense because I know people listen for the nonsense, but we got to do the Austin FC first. It's our suffering before our joy. All right, so some names in, some names out. Seth, you want to give us a quick maybe rundown on who's gone, who we expected to be gone, who's maybe a surprise, and who's coming in?
Yeah, so we'll talk about who's coming in because that's like the more exciting stuff at a point here. Well, I guess who's gone. So we'll go from the back and go up here. So gone is Stefan Cleveland, sold to Sporting Kansas City and their new owners for $50,000 in GAM. Congratulations, that is more than the $0 of GAM I expected to get from him. We actually temporarily extended his contract and then we're able to sell him for 50,000 in GAM. We also came out during this that as a very pro GAM podcast that we have the least amount of GAM in the entire league and it's not close. And we somehow have spent $0 of TAM. We are in a unique category. Roto is deciding to manage a budget differently than every other team in the league, and at least it gives us something to talk about.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but the $50,000 in GAM we received for Stefan Cleveland is the lowest amount that the league will actually let you trade in GAM for.
That is my understanding. I mean, you can also get $50,000 in GAM for an analyst.
We had another.
I mean, this is a league where we have seen front office members traded for draft picks, like an MLS Super Draft, which occasionally does. I mean, heck, Danny's been fantastic for us, and Danny was extended to a new contract as well. But like came out of the Super Draft, you do occasionally see players still come out of the Super Draft, but like. We got like $250,000 in GAM for trading Nate Jones, and we got 50,000 for Stefan Cleveland.
Yeah.
Nate Jones, obviously like Vermont Green legend, but like I don't think he's gonna play a minute in MLS.
Nope.
Fascinating how this stuff works.
We also got offensive legend Calvin Fodry out of the draft.
That is true.
So,
and we never know where things will come out here. So as we keep building up here on the back line, Julio Cascante, a original member of Austin FC, the most forward center back that any of us have ever seen in our lives, is no longer with the club. I don't think he's actually signed anywhere else yet, has he? I haven't seen. I'm just like expecting a news to see like Alajuelense or Saprissa or Herediano or one of those teams in Costa Rica to sign him. Because I don't think he would like take. Well, first of all, why would anyone sign in the USL right now? And like, I mean, he probably could get an MLS deal somewhere, but like, does he want to be like, I think if I were him, I would, well, honestly, considering the state of the United States, I would rather be a starting center back in Costa Rica than a backup in MLS right now. But yeah, I expect him to end up on one of the Costa Rican teams, and maybe he just did, and I missed the news on that.
He might just be like testing the water of MLS and then deciding, okay, I'll go take what's on the table in Costa Rica.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could see him like ending up in Argentina or somewhere else in South America as well. That's not outside the realm of possibility. So then on additions, we did add a center back in John Bell, who was formerly of the Seattle Sounders, who's been a rotational center back there. And I think that especially as we'll likely be playing a back five this season or a back three, unclear of exactly how this will work, that having three center backs, it seems like John Bell is someone who would probably be the fourth center back on this roster, but is someone who I would expect to get decent minutes, and he's pretty good. He is represents Jamaica internationally, but was born in the States, so he doesn't take up an international spot. Seems like a pretty solid center back, and I assume he'll come in at a much lower budget charge than Julio did. So overall, shrewd moves there. As we move up to the wing backs, because that's really what we're playing at this point here, we have not Guillermo Biru is still an Austin FC player as of today. I don't know if he will be a month or two from now, but it looks like that he's going to be one of the five center backs more than the wing back role that he's played in the last two seasons because we had a $1.5 million cash for to acquire Joseph Rosales from Minnesota United. So it would be him and Dessler would sort of be playing in the wing back role, and that would be the strongest wing back setup that we've had in the history of this club by a very wide margin. So, and then moving up into the midfield, we really haven't, and we signed Ilie on a presumably lower contract deal than in the past. We have extended Danny on a presumably higher contract deal than in the past, as his U22 has expired. And we have turned Owen Wolfen from a homegrown player to a U22 player. So I still think we might end up seeing another midfielder at some point, but maybe on a supplemental spot or something like that. But be curious to see how it comes together there. Moving up to the wingers, the big move of this window is that we sold Osman Bukhari to a team in Poland for a record transfer fee in the Polish league. Which, I mean, Bukhari, I will say, like, I'm really, really interested to see us this season without him because, oh my gosh, Izuni's actually going to have someone marking him now. Like, maybe he'll actually score goals with someone marking him, but that we get to a point here. Bukhari took on so much attention in the last season. Like, I don't know if our newest signing, Facundo Torres, will be able to replicate that, but we'll see. We have two new wingers coming in, which means that we'll actually have two proper wingers on this team in Facundo Torres and in Jaden Nelson. So Facundo Torres, most recently from Palmeiras in Brazil, but had been with Orlando City for 3 years, was remarkably productive in his time with Orlando City, was a U22 player there, Uruguay international, but still has his green card that he did not forfeit, which I was very nervous about. So it's very rare to sign a 25-year-old DP from another country who already has a green card and has a lot of success in MLS. If we see a theme of this window, it is bringing in three players in Jaden Nelson, Facundo Torres, and Joseph Rosales, who should be starters in 27 days when we play against Minnesota United, who all have MLS experience. Like, this is a good thing. Like, these guys have all scored, they've all assisted, they've all figured out the bullshit of the league that we play in. And Hunter O'Brien is still on this roster as of this moment. I don't expect that he will be on this roster come February for the opener against Minnesota.
On the roster, but currently somewhere in Colombia, we believe.
Yes, and if you are following the geopolitics of this, Petro, who is the president of Colombia, does not get along with our orange dictator in this country, and that I don't think. I actually don't know how Colombians. I think unless you are applying for a FIFA only visa for the World Cup, I don't know. Colombia has a longer visa wait list than India does right now. It's crazy. And I think our government is pretty much stopping the admitting of many Colombians because they are explicitly racist.
All right, I'm going to ask a format question.
Sorry,
Can we
1
get a
second.
little
You
bit
mean
more-
the government's racist, not the Colombians, right?
Yeah, correct. The United
Okay,
States
just to
government. No, we have no issue with our amigos de Colombia. They are lovely people. Obviously, I'm sure there are individuals who are screwed up in Colombia, like there are in the other 210 plus countries in the world. But Colombians are not the problem here. The people in Washington, D.C. are the problem.
Yeah, never heard that one before. No, just as a formatting thing, Seth, can we move beyond Orange Dictator? Can we go for Tangerine Tyrant or Cheeto Hitler or something, just to spice it up a little bit?
Yeah, I am all open for. I mean, I am rocking you guys. I don't think we're gonna release the video of this lovely Cincinnati Three Ways hoodie here, and I honestly think that this guy is prettier than our 79-year-old leader.
I mean, it's a pretty awesome logo.
And healthier.
Yeah, and less likely to give you indigestion.
I think less bad for you is probably the better way to phrase it, but yeah, those sound like mostly good off-season moves, generally upgrades. So we do think, and I'm going to open up a little bit more to Brad and Scott here, back three, back five, I kind of use those interchangeably. What we did a lot of last year is kind of ping out with wing backs, and then we would basically rotate the field. So it ends up being a back four, but you have either side can kind of go, and then the other side's kind of drift in. I do wonder without assuming if Bureau is going to be gone, if we're playing more like three straight center backs, if it's going to be more of like these are the three guys that play back, these are the two that push forward. You'd see that in teams like Bayer Leverkusen or Inter Milan do it a lot. A little more common there. So what do you guys think we're going to see shape-wise? I'll start with Brad, I guess.
I have no idea, honestly. I
Is the
think,
correct answer.
yeah. The thing I think that we somewhat lean to right now, but I don't know that Nico necessarily would want to do it, is 5-2-3. We don't have a ton in the midfield. And what we do is if you put our best 11 right now on the pitch, that's the formation to me that would put your best players out there all the time. It leans on Danny, kind of to play that low line midfield spot and then push forward with Owen to be the creator. Because the one thing we still haven't really done is go sign a 10. And yes, we have some new players coming in that I'm kind of excited about, and I think it's going to be interesting. I love the Facundo Torres signing, especially. But the question still remains, who gets these guys service? Who gets them the ball? Who gives them a chance to score? And so if I think about the way the roster is constructed now, it's Nico's defense first. So load back. You can push the wing back, the wing backs up in the 5-2-3 to help out in the midfield some, kind of make it a 3-4-3 in the attack. But with the wingers that we've signed, plus you still have Vasquez coming back from injury eventually, you're going to have three forward at all times. So you can't come up with a formation that doesn't have three forward. We're not playing two forward. We're not going to do like a 4-4-2, I think, or anything like that. It really is a 3-4 formation. And it's just a matter of, does it look different in the attack versus defense? And I think it's 5-2-3 defense setup pushing into 3-4-3 in the attack. Or if I've got that right, I may be doing the math wrong, but there you go.
No, I mean, your math's mathing.
Okay.
It works out. Yeah, I think you're right. Like, we don't know, and especially since the roster isn't exactly done and dusted yet. It would be nice to get Obrian off the books and maybe open up space, but kind of tying in, Scott, last year you called Owen Wolf as your player this season. Where do you see him kind of fitting in? And you can, answer however you want, since we did just say we don't know the formation, we don't know, what the final roster is going to look like. But where do you see him kind of slotting in? Is he a 10? Is he dropping back closer to Danny in midfield? Are we going to play him, as an off striker? Is he a winger? Like, where do you see him going this year?
I think Owen's going to tell us a lot about what formation Nico's playing that match. I think the answer to what formation we're going to play is a lot of them. I think he's going to do a lot of tactical flexibility and changing things around based on opponents and kind of who's available. I could see Owen as a more advanced midfielder and like a midfield two with him and Danny. I know that was tried years ago, but I think both of them are just much better players now, and they could probably handle that. And I think this team is only going to be really good if we can get Owen into pockets of space where he can link up between midfield and attack with the three attackers. And I kind of got the feeling that Roto banked on Owen's improvement last year, and I think he's doing that again this year. And as much as we keep calling for a new 10 who's going to bring in this creativity, as we kind of talked about, like, there isn't a lot of game to spend right now. We don't have a lot of assets to try to go and get that guy. And I think Roto views this roster and is like, give it to the kid and let the kid do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of how I'm, at least where we're at right now is shaking out, is like, to the extent there's a 10, it's Owen. Or we're gonna, maybe see some craziness. I'm big on the whole, like, it's MLS, get your best players on the field and figure it out from there.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I think Nelson and Torres have more creativity than any winger duo we had before, and especially Torres being able to cut inside, which, as much as we are big fans of Bukhari on this podcast, like, he was always going to go right. And if you force him to go inside, he didn't really have any like counters to that. Torres does, and I think he's going to unlock some things if he's isolated on a fullback that Bukhari just didn't have in his bag.
When I look at the roster setup now, with Torres one side, where does Uzuni fit on this roster? That's where I can't figure out when you put our 11 out there right now. Initially, he might end up playing striker, and I would expect that, while Vasquez is coming back from full injury. But once Vasquez is back, Where does Mirto really fit in the scheme of this, the way we set up?
Left out where he belongs. No, I don't know. I think, you give him half a season because you kind of have to at this point, and then maybe then it's decision time when we get to the World Cup break.
Yeah, or let's hope Albania is still in World Cup qualification. If they, I mean, they have a tough pod to get out of, but if they get out of that pod, someone, and if he could score some goals in March, I mean, we said the same thing in November. He's playing England. Let's hope he scores some goals against England. Oh, he didn't. He probably won't in March. But if he could somehow have a great March in that pod, like, then, I mean, effectively for the second half of the season. And a piece of news that we did not mention because MLS going to MLS. We are recording this on Sunday morning, January 25th. On Thursday, January 22nd, MLS announced the transfer windows for the 2026 season, which opens tomorrow. So, but the big real news is that instead of having a 3-month window to start the season, we only have a 2-month window, which means the transfer window will be open from July 12th to September 2nd. That means that we align with the European transfer window at the end of this. That means that sales are more likely.
Good.
I think that's really smart because everybody's going to wait until after the World Cup to do business, and it's going to be a complete free for all for 2 months, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun, silly season. It is annoying when they draw that out and you're like seeing stuff in May when, like the Premier League's wrapping up and then you're like, I don't care. And then like there's a couple things that get done before preseason tours in July and then you wait another couple months and it's just dumb. Click on Football London articles and hope your computer doesn't get cancer and things like that. So we'll see. I don't know if we can. I like Bogert as long as we can pay attention to him and keep Fabrizio Romano out of the world. I'm a happy person.
I mean, Fabrizio, can we talk about this for a second?
Sure.
I had to unfollow Fabrizio on all platforms because he is now in the last like 6 months, all of his posts are just AI posts.
Yeah, I
Like,
think he either has an AI bot or he like pays somebody to program an AI bot, and he nominally works for the Daily Mirror.
because he was working for Sky for a bit, and
Okay.
then Sky did not let him go there. Yeah.
Yeah, because all of his have like parentheses mirror in them, and the Daily Mirror is
No, no,
like,
no, 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 no. That's a mirror on Blue Sky. That's
oh, okay,
mirroring from Twitter X. That
okay.
is not the Daily Mirror. As much as I want to shit on Fabrizio Romano, I don't think he is working for the Daily Mirror.
Well, that's why I was like, okay, the Daily Mirror is like the ninth most important tabloid. Surely, like the Sun or somebody would have paid him.
No, a lot of people pay him. Unfortunately, and I think he actually gets more of his salary from directly from agents.
Oh yeah,
But like it's such a weird world.
I don't think he's. I think his uncle quit working there, but he used to at one point be essentially an employee of Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
No,
All right.
good work if you can get it.
Yeah. Do we have any other big, we'll do a full season preview as we get a little closer, but just kind of wanted to get the vibe out there. On Facundo Torres, like Scott kind of mentioned, we're big fans of Bukhari, and I'm very open to Torres being a an improvement, especially because I think he's going to play a little more of like a wing fielder, kind of inside winger, outside striker kind of person. And I think that fits us better than, go beat three people Bukhari, hopefully, at least systems wise.
He's
But
going to give the team more structure.
yeah.
Yeah, which I think is probably good for Nico because that Nico's coaching style does not lend itself to people being extremely creative.
Yeah. Do we think we might see him, especially before Vasquez gets back, in more of like a 10 or like a straight, we play, let's just say 4-4-2 or 5-3-2. Um, One of those kind of forward roles. Because he is a little more creative, two-footed. He's not like an internal playmaker like a, Florian Wirtz or your classic 10 kind of guys, but the guy can play inside, he can shoot, he can score. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him not play like a pure wing or anything. What do you guys think?
I think he's going to nominally be a winger, but his positioning, like if we were to look at like heat maps, is going to be 5 to 10 yards more inside than Bukhari was, and he's going to be making more runs in behind the striker to kind of fill that space. Just from like what I've seen of like the highlights and what he did in Orlando, like I think that's where he fits best, and it kind of takes away some of the creativity needs from other players around him, and it helps because Nico's system, and I think this is generally a criticism of all U.S. national team coaches and coaching tree guys, is the striker isn't involved in the run of play. They are just told to stand where the center backs are and just wait for like tap it. So that's all they do. And I think because we don't have anybody to like come back and fill that space consistently, somebody has to do it for this team to be better in attack. And I think Torres can do that.
Yeah, I think having anyone do that would be nice, as you kind of alluded
Well,
to.
the luxury you have though, if you play him on the right, is if he tucks in like Scott's talking about, you do have Dessler that can overlap over there and still be a threat offensively to make some things happen, because we know what Dessler can do with the ball at his feet.
Well, I think that's kind of the game plan and why you want to play this like, flying wingback situation is you still have your guys, they're just your wingbacks getting to the line and playing cutbacks. But now your wingers can actually pinch in more and make some more plays on the ball, make some passes, make some runs, and it's less like winger gets to the byline and, go from there. And then when we hit it straight at the keeper, we're fucked.
Dessler's health is one of my bigger concerns this year of the team, because he's a hell of a player and we're far, far better with him on the field. But there's the old saying, the best ability is availability, right? And too often, and it's because he's busting his ass out there. I'm not criticizing the guy the way he plays, but he does have a bit of an injury bug at times. And we need him to stay healthy for the better part of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, you see that on teams with kind of this hybrid, you're both a wingback and expected to be a fullback defensively, where you're having a lot of heavy sprints, and that's when you see a lot of injuries add up. So hopefully we can find a solution there.
I mean, it's going to be interesting as we have a 2 month break in this season. And as we look through that window of like, okay, who on this team is actually going to be playing in a World Cup? You have Jaden Nelson, who is a fringe player for Canada who's qualified. And remember, on the World Cup, you get 26 men on your roster, not 23 or 20. So I like Jaden Nelson is going to be, think about like guys in the final year of a contract. Jaden Nelson is going to be over, like, this guy is incentivized to show up and have the half season of his life to make the World Cup roster. That's a really exciting position for us to be in.
Always love a contract year.
But really, if we look at everyone else on this roster, I don't think anyone else on, unless Albania makes it out to the World Cup. I mean, I'm running through this in my head here. Like, I mean, I guess
Ukraine's already
Svatak
out,
if
right?
Ukraine makes it, but like
Yeah.
he's on there. But like otherwise, I think those are our only two guys who have a realistic World Cup shot.
I mean, unless something goes crazy and we get, 90 people are hurt and Owen goes and plays for the US or something like that.
Yeah, or like 7 goalies get hurt and they decide that they have to call Stuver up or something, which honestly would be probably better than the US goalie pool at the moment. But that's a whole other story.
Yeah, I went on a diatribe about this at some point last year where it's not like the US is in their classic, we have a bunch of good goalies mode. You might as well call them up and we'll see. But
I mean, I feel like all the US goalies that went to Europe couldn't find regular jobs and are now all coming back to MLS anyway.
Yeah.
That
And
is
so there's
correct.
this like weird idea of like going for the keepers in Europe, but none of them are sticking there.
It's really funny.
Like
Of the
there,
one MLS
like there's no
goalie,
Tim Howard here.
yeah. Like the one MLS goalie who has stuck in England right now, who I mean he just won a game in the Premier League again yesterday, is Petrovic.
I thought he was nominally Serbian.
No, MLS goalie. I didn't say
Oh,
American.
MLS, sorry.
No. He's not American. No, he's
Okay,
Serbian.
gotcha.
He's
actually-
definitely Serbian. I was just saying, like, it is possible to go from MLS to the EPL and succeed. It might not be possible to go from MLS as a coach to Celtic and succeed, but that's a whole other story.
But hot take here, it's also, I think, if your number one goal is shot stopping as a keeper, if that's the thing you're trying to get better at, MLS is probably a better league. You're going to face more shots here than you will over in the EPL or most places in Europe, because the defense is just so damn good over there. It's hard to get through. So I don't understand why you wouldn't want to play here for development, especially on a national team level, to see more shots and to see different ankles and things that you're not going to see elsewhere.
You get more visibility, and like you kind of alluded to here, a lot of the shots that you face in the Premier League are repetitive. Like you face the same 10 or 15 shots in different games most of the time, right? Like different things happen, there's crazy bobbles, whatever. But as far as like CONCACAF crazy, like anybody could be shooting from anywhere stuff, MLS is way closer to an approximation of a US qualifying cycle.
Going back to Torres on that point you just made, I think Torres, we finally have one of those guys who just randomly takes shots. And I don't think we really had that since like Driussi in 22. And there's some kind of inherent value of just like shooting and getting a good shot on goal and the keeper's not expecting it. As opposed to this like, oh, we got to pass it around. We have to make sure it's like this great shot or this great chance or blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, just hit it.
Oh, we can coach that out of him. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Get a 2 week stint of Mikel Arteta over here to tell people to never shoot. It'll be great. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like pump some shots. Like the data's pretty clear on this one. I think it's more skewed in MLS than other leagues that if you shoot, you score. Which, is a little bit of a truism, but
Well, but I think that's largely due to defenses being worse. I don't necessarily think it's a keeper issue as opposed to the guys in front of the keeper.
yeah, that's part of it. And I mean, I don't even mean like, racking up stats. Like you get own goals, you get things like that. Like pop the ball in there.
And also, you
It
play
would
on the
be an
funniest playing
interesting-
surfaces in the world, and you're just like, oh, wait a minute, you're going to have what is bouncing on you in Vancouver right now? Good luck.
Well, I was also thinking from a roster construction perspective, if you looked at the average salary of attackers versus the average salary of defenders in MLS, like that's really going to explain the entire talent gap. Like you're the best teams are the ones who are able to spend cheaply on defense and still defend.
Yeah, and it's the whole thing with salary cap. I mean, that's to an extent true across leagues, right? You're always going to pay more for a striker than a center back, but
It is, and I also think that roster construction in general is part of, going back to Seth's comment about Wilfred Nancy, like MLS teams are all similarly constructed. And I do think that there's a certain amount of like tactical inflexibility of just everybody kind of plays like kind of similar ways because your roster constructions are what they are and they force they force how you play by how you can build your team. Like you don't have the freedom to spend whatever, or you have the like giant talent spending disparities that you have in other leagues that kind of drive that like tactical ingenuity.
yeah, and I mean, part of that's coaching tree too. So, any other big MLS news? I'm sad about the whole Nancy thing because I liked him and I wanted him to do well, but I guess he's, decided to go blow up at Celtic in a year that Hearts are going to win the league anyways, so it's not points to Rangers.
For him now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I coughed.
Yes.
We'll see.
Look, if you're willing to cut a striker who's not scoring to get a guy who can, there's no reason not to get a coach who's kind of a mid coach to get one of the best in the league.
Yeah, this is I think anybody, not just in our position, anybody in our position or lower in the league, if you weren't one of the last 8 teams standing last year, you are insane not to consider doing whatever you got to do to go get Wilfred Nancy and telling your coach to fuck off. And it's not a shot at anybody out there. It's not a shot at Nico. I thought Nico did fine last year, even though I'm not his biggest fan. I think his play style is boring. But we got to a cup final. We made the playoffs. Like we unequivocally improved last year. Do I think he's a better coach than Nancy? Absolutely not. And you have the chance potentially, without missing a beat, to go get him potentially a little bit of a discount here. Why, or anywhere else in the league? Why would you not have that back channel conversation?
So
Yeah.
we have two of the best coaches in this league are currently unemployed, despite 9 coaches being hired this cycle. Him and Jim Curtin somehow still doesn't have a job.
Do we think Jim Curtin's just being selective?
Or Jim Curtin is just like, screw this, like I'm going to focus on like raising my family or something else. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
So
It's-
the Curtin might be a bit of a
like that.
personality thing because he did have I know there was some animosity when he left Philadelphia, right?
yeah, but also Philadelphia's owners don't spend money.
Yeah. I don't see any of that with Nancy. Like, he went to one of the biggest clubs in the world. It didn't work out. He tried to make some changes pretty fast. And, Celtic fans, they're used to winning. And if you're not winning, you're out.
Yeah.
Well, and Celtic was a fucking dumpster fire before he got there too.
Yeah. Like, let him come anywhere in this league, give him 2 years, you're going to be better. You will be a better team. And it's insane to me that no one has made the call yet.
Yeah.
I think Celtic hired him specifically to deflect blame of how their season's going. And they could be like, well, sorry, we hired the coach who we thought was really good, had to fire him, season's lost, blah, 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 kind of a thing. Like, I think that was a PR move.
You know what? Like the funny thing is, like if Celtic wins out, they still win the title. Like it's not all they are currently beating Hearts at the moment, so they're only 3 points behind if they hold on to this match.
Lawrence Shankland is inevitable, not just now, but in June, Seth.
Yes. I know this is going on a tangent, but this is what we do on this podcast. Did you did you put in for all three Scotland games, Devin?
I did.
Okay.
I would have to look at my whole map, but I think I put in for every Scotland, every Holland, and then like there was maybe like a Saudi Arabia against someone in
Cape
Houston
Verde game?
On which one?
The Saudi Arabia against Cape Verde?
Yeah.
Which like everyone has like been memeing. Like the funny thing is like everyone's memeing like, oh, there's no way that game's gonna sell out. That game is going to sell out.
Oh yeah. Well, I was like, well, this one, worst comes to worst, I get tickets to this game, and I can say I went to a World Cup game, or like, I can. These are easy to give tickets to somebody in, Austin or somebody or something. So, that's kind of like my base. It's my safety school of
Yes.
of buys.
But like, how much are you going to at a certain point? Like, are you afraid if you win this that you're gonna have like some credit card bill that's like $15,000?
No, because all of mine are like bottom tier, and
Oh, okay. So those are gonna be harder to get.
yeah, like I have a little sports fund that exists that I'm not gonna exactly tap out, but it'll be pretty close.
Yeah, if they all land. Well, we'll find out what in a little over like I think they said the week of February 5th they're announcing them.
I think that's when they're gonna start notifying people. I don't know if they tell everybody all at once.
Well, I
So
think they said by the 9th they're gonna let everyone know because they'll let
Okay.
you know if you are successful, partially successful, or unsuccessful.
it's crazy, by the way, how expensive domestic flights are already getting this summer. Because I have started looking for flights to Omaha to go to the College World Series in June, and it is not cheap. And it's right around the same time of the World. I think the World Cup will be going on the exact same time. So, yeah, it's getting stupid expensive already.
Oh wait, Seth, is one of those Scotland games against Brazil in Miami?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't put in for that one.
Oh yeah. Don't do that. Like that's just not a good idea. That there's I mean, it was interesting. So did you guys know what game was the most requested game for the World Cup? Have you guys seen this?
Mexico's opener.
Mexico's opener was number 4. It wasn't even number 1.
I mean the final.
Finals
Probably.
number 3.
But that's just some Argentina game.
No, Argentina wasn't even in the top 5. Their fan base is crazier than Argentina, which is
Either Germany or England.
nope. Well, so I should say number 5. Number 5 is a really esoteric one. So, as you may know, actually, Brad and Scott will know this from our trip to Toronto a year and a half ago. There is a massive Croatian community in Toronto, and Croatia could play their round of 32 match if they finish second in the group in Toronto. That was number 5 on the most requested list.
Nice.
But yeah, number 1 and 2. I'll give you number 2. Number 2 is Mexico's third game, which it would be against a UEFA team, so it could be Mexico against Ireland. But what was the number 1 game that was the most requested game? It was a group stage game.
The group stage game. I'd have to have the thing in front of me to see, but um, Brazil playing someone, I'm assuming.
No, it's not. It is Portugal against Colombia.
Ooh, why?
It's in Miami, and
Okay.
this country and this world unfortunately have millions of Ronaldo stands. And if you've ever seen Colombia fans, I mean, we've been talking a lot about Colombia on this podcast today. Even if visa situations are somehow shut down, I would not be shocked if there had been between 50 and 75 million tickets requested for Portugal versus Colombia in Miami.
Yeah,
Jesus.
there's a big Colombian population down in South Florida. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
I
Well,
went to a
even if you're
phenomenal
coming-
Colombian restaurant down there.
even if you're flying in from Bogota, you can get a short-term like tourist visa, right?
No, right now there's like a 2-year wait for that, but there's going to be a FIFA special pass that is being rolled out right now. But even then, there are millions of people of Colombian descent in the United States, and I think every single one of them requested 4 tickets.
Yeah. That would make sense. Yeah, like you get off your flight from Bogota, you get your peace prize, you go to the match, you leave. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a great time. We're just handing those out to everyone now. All right. Any other big MLS news we want to cover? We do have to talk some football.
We have not covered the most unsurprising coaching hire of this cycle. That Michael Bradley is now an MLS head coach, something that no one could have ever seen coming.
Nope, no way.
Well, we also have not talked about Josh Sargent apparently potentially going to Toronto.
Yeah, I think it will happen.
Because the only place he wants to go, he wants to come back to North America, but he only wants to go to Toronto.
He wants to go somewhere where he can guaranteed play and score goals to try to get on the team. I'm sure that's all he's.
Yeah, and from what I understand, has a non-American partner, which is why he wants to be in Toronto and not in the U.S. proper.
That would make more sense.
I mean, I would also like to be in Toronto and not the U.S. proper most of the time, so that's understandable.
Well, is she British?
I have to look up more details there.
Because that would make more sense why you're picking Canada too.
Yeah.
Since, the King's still on their money. Feels like home.
Isn't he still playing and scoring goals at Norwich until he decided to put in the transfer though? I thought that was like a good situation for him.
I think they're in like near relegation zone. But
Okay.
I think he had some sort of like either they switched coaches or he had a falling out with the coach or something.
They apparently said something about his family.
Oh,
That's the rumor, and they've had a big falling out, and he wants out. So
I should apologize. It's not girlfriend, it is wife. And somehow Josh Sargent already has 3 kids.
And the answer is yes, they are near the relegation zone. They are 1 point clear of relegation right now.
They've been playing much better recently.
we're coming for you. Dorking's coming for you, Norwich. We'll see you in 2 years in League Two. All right. Josh Sargent already has 3 kids. He's what, 25? 26?
25, yeah. 3 kids at 25.
Okay.
To each their own.
Yeah. I got to keep my hope alive. Either him or Tim Ream has to make the roster, or I think there's only been one U.S. World Cup team that didn't have a St. Louis in on it.
I think Tim Ream is somehow still going to make this World Cup roster.
I think I'm going to be very depressed when I realize that Tim Ream is not only going to make this team, but probably start every game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've pretty much decoupled myself because people are like, "Oh, are you trying to go to USA games?" And I'm like, "No, they made it really easy. They're all on the West Coast."
And it's also like this team. I actually think they're going to do better than we think. They've been looking better in the last few months, but also I don't know if I'm going to spend a lot of money on a match. I want to actually go see teams that are fun, and we're not currently fun. We might be good, but we're not fun.
Yeah,
and also like patriotism in 2026.
Yeah, and I mean, like, half the fun of going to USA games is to go to them like abroad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, for those of us in Austin, U.S. men's national team plays here once a year. Like, going to see them kind of isn't that big of a deal. Like, and you can tell that from the attendance and what Seth was saying. Like, it's so boring. Like, and not to hate too much on it, but a lot of the U.S. national team fans, especially on the men's side, are just really not people you want to sit around and watch a game with. Especially if you're like near the supporter section, getting scolded for waving flags and stuff like that as a like regular occurrence.
Yeah, thank you for fixing that because the diehard women's fans would have been on our asses about like, no, we are not those people.
Having gone to both, it is such a stark difference between those fan bases, and the women's games are so much better and more fun.
Yep, totally agree. All right. Any other big MLS news or notes or things we need to cover?
Oh, also, like Inter Miami has signed the entire league.
Yeah,
except Denny Bouanga because LAFC said hell no.
And Denny Bouanga apparently said hell no too because he is vengeful and him and Son went out. I mean, I will say that match should be fantastic. Inter Miami goes to LAFC. The match is going to be at the Coliseum. They're expecting to sell out the Coliseum for the opener. That should be really fun.
That should be fun. I might actually watch that. We'll see.
It starts 1 hour. It will start during the second half of the Austin opener.
I actually like that they're playing at the Coliseum because you're not playing somewhere completely, totally different where LAFC always plays. It's next door. It's great.
Yeah, they can have the tailgate in the exact same spot. People will park at the same location.
It gets a true feel like a home game still, even though you're not playing in your home stadium.
Yeah. Oh, did we find out? I saw there are some like camps popping up for World Cups. Are we getting anybody here?
I pulled the list recently. Kansas City is managing to get like 4 teams, which is kind of crazy. My personal favorite right now is that Portugal has rented out a resort in Riviera Maya.
Oh, that's nice. Smart.
Do they have soccer fields to practice on there?
Yes, yes, they
Okay.
do.
I I was laughing when I saw Kansas City got England
Yes.
because I'm like, do the English know how damn humid and hot it gets in Kansas City in June?
No, they'll fucking melt. It's gonna be
They're
great.
gonna die.
I mean, the Germans in Winston-Salem aren't going to do much better.
It's at least Winston-Salem has some elevation, so it
Yeah,
does. It's not as bad.
there's more trees. There's some, a nice breeze
Yeah,
coming through.
Kansas City's a damn swamp in the summer, man.
Also, if the English social media admins don't have them trying barbecue for the first time, even like Kansas City barbecue, and realizing like what food can be, I can't, like that needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole genre of like British people try real food, especially American food for the first time.
Like trying to break brisket and ribs and stuff, and they're just like, oh,
Yeah, I think
And
there's
all
one
of a
where it's like,
sudden, Sporting KC gets the entire English national team signed on.
I had something
No,
really
it's
good
like,
to say, but I can't
but
say
for
it.
suddenly like 150 burnt end restaurants open up all across England.
Yeah, the Bertie going to the
I'm
Chippy. The
sorry,
Bertie.
Q Civilization 6 cultural victory with Teddy Roosevelt. Like that is us winning.
Yeah, I mean, the UK is already a client state, so it doesn't really matter. But
No, so it was we were when Deb and I were in London last weekend, we what you call it, where we saw the changing of the guards. And as part of the Sunday parade of the changing of the guards, they were playing Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and I'm just like, wait a minute, what an American cultural victory here. We have the Sunday parade is playing Tina Turner. Like this is like fantastic. Like and we like really are we sure that we were the colony?
we're the
They should have
student
followed
making
with
the
Proud
mess.
Mary.
Was it?
They should have followed with Tina Turner version Proud Mary after that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I guess since you were traveling, do you have any notes before we move on to the American footballs?
I did go and see Charlton play Sheffield United because I was in central London and it was easy and I'd never been to the Valley before. British Transit still is amazing in theory and horrendous in practicality. Made the kickoff by about 30 seconds because of multiple trains getting canceled. Um, the Valley's an interesting place. Obviously, like in a place like that, like they don't, it's 27,000 seats. They don't sell it out very often, but there was probably about 21, 22,000 there. Charlton won 1-0, but was so unconvincing that the Sheffield fans were talking about how they were going to get relegated as they were losing. Um, Sheffield managed to get 2 red cards in the first half, and we had bangers in the second half of chance of 1-0 to the referee. If you had eyes, we'd be winning. And then you're going down with the Wednesday.
Classic.
Yeah, Charlton lost 4-0 to Millwall, who is currently in the playoff spots right now. We could have a season. Yes, I know West Ham beat Sunderland yesterday and could still stay up, but the idea of Millwall going up and West Ham getting relegated is deeply hysterical to me and could absolutely happen.
But West Ham versus Millwall in the championship next year could get nasty as hell.
Oh, it could be absolutely wild. And obviously a tough one for QPR yesterday. That was
We're not going to talk about that. QPR going to QPR. That's all we're going to say.
So the funniest thing about this QPR situation was that the guy who got the red card in the 88th minute had this amazing block where a laser was going in to equalize, and he threw his full body on the line, has this block, and then gets one of the dumbest red cards like 2 minutes later. And if he had been there for blocks, I think QPR gets at least a point, if not 3.
If you watch Welcome to Wrexham, you'll probably see it in about 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Wrexham is currently in the playoff spots. If they get another promotion, holy shit.
The Welsh All-Star team can only go so far in the Premier League, Seth.
Yeah.
I actually don't think they're that good. I mean, I know they're where they are on the standings right now, but if they had lost yesterday, it would have been they would have lost both matches to QPR this year. They looked unimpressive until they got down a man, or until QPR got down a man, and then all of a sudden Wrexham decided to put 2 goals in 4 minutes. but that was also some really shitty closing out of the match by QPR. I'm not so convinced that Wrexham's that good. I don't think they make the playoff, to be honest with you.
There's 5 decent teams in the championship this year. A 6th place team that is not very good is going to make it in, and that's going to be very fun.
And then they'll probably make a run because championship.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and then if they get promoted, we see how big of a gap there really is between clubs.
I don't know. If you spend smart, you can figure it out. Like Sunderland barely, ass backward their way into the playoff last year, won it, and now they're in what, ninth? They're a top half team. Not that I think like they're going to go out and spend the same money or have the same strategy or anything like that, but
no, I just don't think they have like the infrastructure in place to be more than a one up and one down.
No, I mean if you look at the Wrexham roster, it's guys who were washed in the Premier League 5 years ago.
But Wrexham, I think, could attract a ton of private equity and other money really fast. That could get them at least to Nottingham Forest levels.
Yeah, but how quick do you have that turnaround? Like,
I mean, this roster that they're playing with this year is entirely different than the roster they played with last year. They can
but Scott kind of hit on it. Their infrastructure is terrible. They don't have like the practice facilities, like all kinds of stuff that you need at the Premier League level, even at the Championship level. They're just behind on right now.
Yeah, because they didn't think they'd win 3 promotions in 3
years. But it takes time.
Yeah, I mean, sort of like if you guys remember the stories about like Luton having to do all this stuff to their stadium to make it acceptable, and they didn't know because they got promoted via the playoffs, so they had like 2 months to do it. I don't know if you can raise, deploy, and deal capital that fast to actually build a fucking Premier League team.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Luton.
I mean, what is this? College football with NIL? No.
No, that money's already banked. Don't worry.
You're not Texas Tech. You stop.
Or isn't it? I think Iowa State lost like 40 some odd guys in the portal, and they lost every starter.
At one point, had 17 guys left on their roster after Matt Campbell went to Penn State, and he took most of the roster with him to Penn State.
Well, isn't it something like 2/3 of current players either are in or have been at one point in the portal or something?
It's something like that. So there was a number I saw the other day, but it was a couple of thousand kids were still in the portal, and most of them do not have landing spots. And there's some reports coming out now of kids who are trying to go back to their old team and finding out that their spot has been taken. And they're going to have to probably either drop down level. And I don't mean like drop down to the G5 and the P4. I mean like drop to 1AA or FCS or D2 to find any playing time next year now. I think the portal thing is you're going to see kids start rethinking it a lot more. Because these kinds of, unless you're top end talent, you're just looking for money. A lot of these guys get bad advice, and it's coming up quickly that holy crap, they're going to make nothing next year and may not even make a roster somewhere.
Unless you actually have a commitment for your next spot, you should not go into the portal. And the crazier thing about NIL is if you look at declarations for the NFL draft, like underclassmen aren't declaring anymore because they make more money in college than they do as rookies. And so it's become a very interesting thing in the draft of like you have like a handful of first rounders who are juniors or whatever. And like those guys are all going back to school now.
Yeah,
I think unless you're a guaranteed top 5 pick, there's no reason to leave.
No.
I mean, I think if you're a guaranteed first round pick, there's still reason to leave. But if you're not going to be first round, then yeah, stay.
Or if you're like Mizzou's inside linebacker left because he was like, hey, I got a first round draft grade. I don't know if I don't want to risk getting hurt, like whatever. Yeah. There's still that element of it.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL can offer longer term contracts than NIL can. So, like, I mean, the thing that is going to be really interesting to see. So, with Cincy losing Brandon Sorsby to Texas Tech, and his contract, there was a $1 million buyout clause. That goes to Brandon Sorsby, not to the University of Cincinnati. The question is, do we start actually becoming like soccer and actually having universities writing these into the clause? So you actually have to pay the university rather than pay the player. Like,
there's a lawsuit right now with Darian Mensah.
Yes,
that is happening.
Yeah.
Mensah started his career at Tulane, had one really good season under John Summerall, went to Duke, got like reported $3 million to go to Duke this year. Yeah. Led Duke to a 9-3 season, I think, during the regular season. A pretty good year. and an
ACC
ACC
champion.
championship. Oh no, they went 7-5. That's right. They
Yeah,
famously went
7-5 and ACC champions.
ACC title.
8-5 ACC
Yeah.
champions.
But then they decided, all right, he said, I'm going to probably stay here. He has a contract with Duke, and apparently he signed a 2-year NIL contract with Duke.
Yeah.
That has a buyout clause, and Duke's a pretty good law school, so they can figure these things out and write these things in correctly. And then on the very last day of the portal, he went in and said he's going to transfer to Miami, who word is offered him a total package of around $10 million to go to the U. And now they are in court, and there's an injunction against him going to Miami right now in courts. This shit is going to play out. It's getting crazy. Dabo Swinney, who is notoriously anti-portal, anti-NIL, came out and named names yesterday or 2 days ago against Ole Miss because Ole Miss reached out to one of his players and he named the number and everything when the kid transferred. And Dabo apparently has the text messages because the kid shared them with him, or the emails, whatever it was, and is now turning that into the NCAA. So this is all just going to get nasty before it gets cleaned up.
Yeah, and I mean, right now we're looking at that as horrible behavior, and it'll just be, normal shit in 5 years. Like, this is exactly what happened with Ashley Cole. Nobody here remembers that, but I do. Scott, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, was the Duke one the one where they made a video? I'm sorry, they made a hype video for him and they thought he was coming back, and then he used the hype video to announce he was transferring.
Yep.
Okay,
Correct.
No, and I know that we're mostly focused on football right now because the football season just ended, but the NCAA rules for basketball are getting even crazier. Of like a guy who has been drafted is going back to Baylor, and somebody who's been out of college for like 2 years, had like 1 year of eligibility left, and is coming back from playing pro in Europe.
Did you see what happened with Bama this week?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Bama they had a former player who went to the G League for 3 years. This guy played in the G League for 3 years, but he had a little bit of eligibility left, apparently. They went and sued the NCAA for it in a Tuscaloosa court. And a judge who is a Bama donor gave them an injunction, and the kid was on the court yesterday for Alabama.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are now figuring out what forum shopping is. This is de rigueur for the legal profession at this point.
Here's the best part.
I mean, this is making the Western Circuit of Texas look tame.
But here's the best part. After getting the injunction this week, kid plays yesterday, they lose at home to Tennessee.
a true Dixieland delight.
That's beautiful.
Womp womp. I guess we did have games we could talk about, since I don't know if we talked since the playoff. Once again, all of the teams with byes except for one get smacked.
So I think that's still overrated. Last year, remember the byes included like Boise and Arizona State, teams that would have been seeded lower in this year's format and would not have had byes. So I kind of throw year one results out in that regard. This year, I mean, we look at who won. Indiana obviously won because they won the whole damn thing, which is still weird to say that Indiana won a national championship in football. And went undefeated doing so of 16-0. But, the other games, Georgia lost a nail biter. Like, I'm not going to, against a team that they've already beaten, they played once this year. The other two games were whatever. They weren't that great. If I remember correctly, I'm trying to remember who the others were exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Miami beat Ohio.
Oh, Miami game was really good. Yeah, actually.
Miami Ohio State game was good.
Yeah.
And then the Oregon Texas Tech game was not very good.
No. But the Miami game, we saw what Miami was by the end of the year, which is they have a very experienced and overpowering line play. And because they can do that, you can win at the college football level. I didn't think Ohio State was that good all year long, so I'm not so sure the bye really mattered. I just think they didn't really play competition that was worth a damn for most of the season, and when they finally did, it showed up. But yeah, it's the Ole Miss Miami game in the semis was phenomenal. And I thought from a game perspective, we actually got more really good games this year than we have ever in the playoff. In any of the playoff era. But the Miami game was great. The semifinal was great. Excuse me. The Ole Miss Georgia was phenomenal. Kirby Smart basically gave that game away with coaching decisions at the end. Could have gotten overtime and decided to do something stupid instead. Uh, the final, the championship game was really, really good.
Yeah.
Even though it's weird to say that about a game that had 0 lead changes, but that game Monday night was just
Yeah.
really well played.
And also just like some of the play calling in that game of like going for it on 4th and 5, but choosing to kick the field goal at the end, like trying to like where that you're willing to take risk and where you're not. And
Mhm.
like the fact that a defensive stand ended up leading them to a national championship is oh,
Speaking of taking risks, we got to give points to Illinois State.
oh yeah.
Or
Ooh. Celtic just
Two
made an incredible save on Hart's trying to equalize.
two of my closest friends were at that Illinois State Montana State game. One of them lives in Nashville, and the other one flew up with his son. They drove up with his son from Pensacola to go to the game, and I was in Vegas for work watching it, and they were texting me live from the stadium. And afterwards, they said that was the most fun, and we've done a lot of sports things together since too. And the text I got was that was the most fun I have had at a sporting event since the 2013 Kick Six.
well, I always like games like that where you don't like, yeah, I probably wanted Illinois State to win that game because of the, upset factor and the kind of Cinderella story, but like I don't give a shit. Like then we have this like goofy white dude who's just breaking ankles left and right on
Taco Dowler, man.
Taco Dowler. Yeah.
But I mean, the way that game played out with the two blocked field goals, or the two blocked kicks rather, one was a field goal, one was an extra point.
Yep.
Montana State was we all thought they were going to blow out Illinois State. Like they were walking in the game, and I was in Vegas. I had money on Montana State. It's like they should absolutely destroy Illinois State, and that ended up being just a barn burner of a football game.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't watch the earlier rounds, Illinois State beat the like supreme emperor Darth Vader of 1AA football. Basically came back from 14 down in the fourth quarter, went for two, and ended up winning by a point.
They were the first team to ever go on the road in the playoff and win 4 straight to make the title game.
But let's also recognize at where they won these games. The amount of miles they put in to go from Normal, Illinois. Their first round playoff game was, first of all, they lost their last game of the regular season to Southern Illinois by 30 points at home. They were one of the last teams to make it in. They went to Southeast Louisiana for their first game. They won by 18. Then they went up to the Fargo Dome, won as Brad mentioned there. Then they flew out to Davis, California, which is right by Sacramento for the quarterfinals. Then back east to Villanova in the suburbs of Philly for the semifinal, but then down to Nashville for the final. Like, I don't know if a team has ever put that many miles in a playoff run before.
Nashville was by far and away the closest trip for them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they had 2 weeks for that, 2 or 3 weeks for that.
Yeah, Miami logged some miles too. I don't know if it would have been that much, but
yeah, no, I mean, College Station to well, like back to Dallas and then to Phoenix, and then well, they got to play the final at home, even though there's probably what 60-40 Indiana fans there.
Yeah, that does kind of ruin it if you play the final at home.
Yeah, but they got paid $3 million as the road team to play at home, right?
Yeah, they did something like that. I know it's Indiana's first ever title and experience there, but Miami hasn't been there in a quarter century, and it is embarrassing as hell, Miami fans, to get run out of your own building as fans. I don't care how much tickets were or whatever. You are in the fucking city.
Yeah, I mean, you're also playing Indiana, who has the largest alumni base of any university in the world.
Okay, Miami, go sell some extra like stuff on the streets or something. I don't know. Your fan base is crazy like that. Get
or honestly, what they should do is that they should have just like gotten to a point of like had clubs that were set up just for Indiana fans so that they could like roofie them and get their tickets for cheap. I'm not actually suggesting this. I'm not actually suggesting this. But
I mean,
I would have expected Miami fans to do something like that.
Couldn't Uncle Luther, like, what's his name? Luther or Luke? I forget his name down there. Who like bankrolls half the NIL fund. Like, he could have bought some tickets for people, man. It's crazy to me that they did not at least have 50% of the stadium in their home stadium. Wild. Because there's no excuse of we can't go spend money on travel or whatever the case may be. You were sleeping in your own bed.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're there all the time, Miami.
No.
It's been a quarter of a century. You still haven't even won the ACC.
Well, yeah, and I mean, this is the first time Indiana's, but well, I guess Indiana was good last year, but You know, I guess the other thing I wanted to ask about Indiana. So this is sort of like we had that weird little period around COVID where you get guys with like 9 years of eligibility and shit. Indiana basically pulled, and you know, we talk about this when we talk about like youth teams playing up in soccer, where I'm like, no, give me the fucking grown ass men every time. That's basically what Indiana did.
Yeah.
Is they signed a bunch of like fifth and sixth year seniors and said, hey, we're gonna take some grown ass men and beat the shit out of your 5 stars.
I mean, but then look at the Miami quarterback. Like,
Yeah. Do we think that's even replicable in the future due to eligibility, or was this kind of a one-off weird little miracle, or are we going to start seeing more like, hey, I want a team of fifth-year seniors?
You might see more fifth-year seniors. There's a push to get 5 years of eligibility. Or basically just go, you have 5 years to play 4 moving forward.
Yeah, where they like completely loosen all the restrictions around red shirts.
Yeah, it's just you've got 5 years to play ball, basically, and be done. So because like next year, I don't know if you guys know, you can redshirt and play in 9 games and still redshirt after next year. It's pretty interesting. They've already made that move. No, I don't think it's replicable. I mean, Indiana's average starter was age like 23 and a half, or something like that, almost 24 years old during this playoff run. That's not going to happen again because the COVID rules are gone. You're not going to see these super seniors that are 6, 7, 8 years in. I think it showed up a bit in the game on Monday against Miami, where even though Indiana won because of execution on big plays. But from a physical standpoint, they kind of got pushed around in a lot of different areas. And I think it was really like, look at the first touchdown Indiana scored. It wasn't because of anything Indiana did. Miami gave them 2 first downs on 3rd and long on penalties. So it was really more of the more disciplined team won Monday night than I think the team that was physically better.
Yeah, I know you and I disagree on this, but I thought Indiana's D-line handled Miami's O-line perfectly fine. But yeah, just to put a final note on it too, like there's a tweet going around, I don't remember the exact details, but Indiana's team was something like a year and a half younger than the Green Bay Packers, who were a playoff NFL team on average age.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. New format, that's the old format, but different. There's this whole war between the SEC and the Big Ten about, are we going to go to 24 teams eventually? You know, we should probably just go to 16. 24 is too many. You don't need the whole top 25 there.
No.
Yeah. But it's also, everything going on there is, we'll see how it all comes together. The fact that it stays at 12 is fine at this point. Like 12 is okay. 16 is okay. Anything more than that is just, it's insane.
The Big Ten is an evil organization that needs to be disbanded because all they can think about is expansion. That goes, sorry, Big Ten, you were the catalyst for all this crazy bullshit when it comes to expansions from conferences. You are now the catalyst for trying to expand more and get guaranteed spots for the playoffs. It's not any other conference that's yelling about guaranteed spots. It's you. Go away. Shut up.
What have I been telling you for my entire life? The combination of Big Ten and Notre Dame has been the problem with everything wrong in college football.
Speaking of things that are wrong in college football, next season it will be the first season that they will allow sponsors on college football uniforms. So what is going to be the worst sponsor that is going to be chosen by a team in the next cycle?
Dude wipes.
During the
They already have a
NYCFC
history of
tournament.
sponsoring teams. We've already seen it.
Dude, Skyline's going to sponsor somebody around
Oh,
Cincinnati.
they're going to sponsor Cincinnati, and they're already the official chili. Yeah.
Should Oregon just have like 2 Nike swooshes? Like just like
No, should UNC have the Air Jordan logo?
They should. UC Berkeley is going to be sponsored by the on-campus Communist Party.
Who is going to? No, they're going to be sponsored by LinkedIn with Fernando Mendoza post on the side.
That man's doing a TED talk right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what the funniest one for Texas would be. Besides Fleshlight, obviously.
I mean, somebody in the state is going to have a Bucky sponsor.
Yeah.
Somebody in this state will have a Bucky sponsor.
Sam Houston State. I'm calling that right now.
No, but Bucky's is like notoriously reluctant to sponsor things, so I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
They don't need
see.
to.
Yeah,
No, there's going to be like I'm trying to think like I want to see like Arkansas being sponsored by Conagra or like Tyson,
Tyson chicken.
Yeah,
like
no.
does and then we can run a list of where your NIL collective's biggest donor is, like or Indiana because Mark Cuban is their largest NIL donor. Is it like whatever company wins on Shark Tank that week is now the Indiana sponsor?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we should do that one.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah,
That is good business.
See, we always joke at Auburn about like, oh, we have Apple money, but we really don't because Tim Cook is, you can't give money to the school except out of his own funds, which I think he does donate, but not really to football as much. But now it's like, hey, they can sponsor. You can get an Apple logo on Auburn stuff and maybe Oregon.
Doesn't Apple famously only want their products used for protagonists?
Well,
Whoops.
aren't we in the Iron Bowl?
I think you severely underestimate how much I dislike your home university, Brett.
That's fine.
No, but so the thing is, you guys have been all like, oh, Skyline's going to sponsor Cincinnati, and they probably will. But you know what? There's going to be another patch on the Bearcats jerseys that are going to make them sell around the world. They're going to be sponsored by Taylor Swift's new tour.
Ooh.
No, actually, you know what, Cincinnati, you're getting a New Heights patch.
Yeah, probably.
New Heights podcast.
But that will still sell plenty of jerseys.
Oh, it would sell tons.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then in pro football, Broncos today. Yay!
Yeah, let's do pro football. The Broncos are the only remaining non-evil team left, so go Broncos. I also kind of like the Broncos, but regardless, by default, they would have been the only choice.
Yeah. So I was at the game against the Bills last week. Through very, very good friends, was able to get a ticket, and went to my first home Broncos game since Mile High Stadium, the original, was standing, and John Elway was playing quarterback. So the last time I got to go see a home game. And I found out on a pretty short notice. Like I kind of put in a bug in people's ear a month or so in advance, like, hey, if this happens, any chance of a ticket, and came through. So in about 3 days' notice, I booked a very expensive Frontier flight because it was still cheaper than everything else and still cost too much money. But met up with a couple of Bronco locals who are also LV members out there to watch a little footy in the morning at Celtic on Market because it's, very walkable to the stadium. So we watched a couple of games there. Devin, you would love to know that there were a couple of Tottenham fans hanging out, and they lost to West Ham.
Yeah,
and
Dr. Tottenham.
Celtic is also the Arsenal bar, so Arsenal fans were starting to pile in just as it happened because it was a very late goal for West Ham that won. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So watch that.
Dr. Tottenham in the future.
Watch that. Started tailgating a little bit. Did my usual, take some cash with me and just ask people to buy a drink, and then nobody ever charges you, and you get food and drink for free and whatever, and hang out and party with people. So we're walking around the stadium, and there's a monument area in front of the stadium. And myself and Rob Avery, he's a big Broncos fan who's in LV. And I was with Vince as well, Capo Vince, who now lives in Colorado. And he's a Jets fan, but Vince is adopting the Broncos for his kids now that he lives out there because he doesn't want them to suffer for life. We're all walking around this the monument area where the teams come in as the players come in through the day. And Rob and I notice a table in front of Rod Smith's monument. It's like, there's a line forming. And so we ask a question and go, yeah, Rod's going to be here in 10 minutes to sign autographs. I'm like, oh shit, cool. I'll take a picture with Rod Smith. That'd be cool. Won a couple Super Bowls, best receiver on the team at the time, back in the 90s. And as we're standing in line, I get a text on a beautifully crisp, it was not a cloud in the sky, mid-30s. Like, the weather was actually great. I get a text from my friend who has connections that, hey, I've got a sideline pass for you. Come meet me right now. So I bolted out of line, told those guys, goodbye, see ya, gotta go. Grabbed my sideline pass and got in line to go there. Got to hang out on sidelines during warm-ups, took a ton of pictures, and I had this one picture that I took. I was like, oh, there's Jared Stidham. Auburn guy, let me take a picture. And I look down on it, and Bo Nix is throwing him like on the other side of it. So you actually have this like crazy prescient picture of foreshadowing, because we all know what happened with Bo at the end of the game. And Stidham's playing today. But as we're leaving the field, I randomly look up and I see my all-time favorite Bronco walking right past me. It's Terrell Davis. And so quickly, TD, can I grab a 2-second photo? He's like, yeah, sure. And super nice guy. Got to shake his hand, take a picture. I'm beaming. And you have 2 ways you can walk off the field. You can kind of walk off right by the main tunnel there where you go off, or you can go to the other end, which is where my seats were. So I kind of walk the length of the field on the outside to take in the full scope of it, to get to my seats, which were on club level in the end zone, had great seats. The game was phenomenal. Of course, Broncos won in overtime. And legitimately, I've been fortunate to go to a lot of cool sporting events in my life. I've been to some big ones. Top 3 sporting event day for me in my life, my history. Just because of how much I love the team, how much I care. The sidelines, getting to meet Terrell, the way the game played out. It was just a phenomenal day. And hopefully they'll make the Super Bowl today. But if not, sucks that Bo Nix got hurt. But, it's been more than I thought would happen this year. So I'm pretty happy.
All right. Prediction time. We're going to start with Seth. We'll go Broncos Patriots first.
Patriots narrowly pull it out.
You got a score, or you're just going to say narrow?
I'm going to say 2017 Patriots.
Okay.
Drake
Scott?
May pulls it off here, but loses in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And then am I doing
like
what you got, Rams Seahawks as well, or just this game?
Yeah, we can do it. If you just want to do both now, that's fine.
Yeah, let's do both. Yeah, I think Seahawks just clamp down, win 31-21.
Okay. Scott?
I like both home teams today. I think it's really unfortunate for the Broncos that we don't get to see like their full team play. I do think that the backup's probably better than we think he is. It'll show out, but I just don't think they're going to have enough. And then I like the Rams at home with Stafford.
Aren't both of those teams away?
Yeah. I was gonna say the Rams are. You're reading
Rams are away.
this like football fixture, Scott.
This is why I give her using Flash Score, because I keep forgetting that they
Broncos are home, Rams are away.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the road teams then.
Okay, so you got Patriots, Rams. You're gonna give me my fucking nightmare Super Bowl? You got any
I mean, it's already happened once. It can't be that bad again, right?
I mean, it's a nightmare Super Bowl for me either way. Because we've
had every one of these combination Super Bowls except for Broncos Rams.
Correct.
I was like, yeah.
Correct. That could be your only new Super Bowl matchup, yes.
All right. I'll go next. We'll let Brad, since he has a vested interest, go last. I'm gonna take Patriots 24-21. 24-20. And I'm gonna go Seahawks 34-21.
Okay. I'll go reverse order, start with the Seahawks. I think they all win. I think Seahawks win. I think Seahawks are the clear favorite to win the whole damn thing, in my opinion. I'll go 30-17 Seahawks up in Seattle there. We're going to deep dive Denver because it's my team. It's the one I know more of. I think Denver wins this game today. They're about a 4.5 to 5 point underdog this morning. Here's why, and there's a few reasons. One, if you look at the lines and I'm talking about the offensive line specifically, that this New England defense has played so far in the playoff run, they have not been good. Pro Football Focus rates the Texans line somewhere around like 30th in the league, offensive line. And then who did we going to play the week before that? I forgot who they played in week 1 and the first week. Oh, they played the Chargers. And the Chargers offensive line was something like 27th, 28th. And this is especially with pass blocking. So Drake May's had more time to throw than you would think, and he's still be getting pressured. Drake May gets sacked more than anybody else left in this playoff by a lot. Defensive line for Denver is very, very good and is going to be able to get to Drake May a few times today. Offensive line, I mean, Denver offensive line versus, I mentioned that defense for New England has been playing some weaker offensive lines. Pro Football Focus rates Denver's offensive pass blocking #1 in the league. So this is a major step up for what New England's defense is having to face via getting to the quarterback. Offensive line only allows a pressure rate of like 23 or 24%. So I expect Stidham to have some time in the pocket today. If he has to move, he is not a statue. I think there's folks who only saw him play in New England. Bill Belichick's not a guy who wants him to run around any. You saw that with Brady back in the day and anybody else who followed. And remember, it was Belichick that drafted Stidham. But if you look at his tape at Auburn specifically, or even he played a game a few years ago for the Raiders against San Francisco. He's got enough mobility. I look at him more of the younger years Aaron Rodgers type mobility. Enough to keep you honest. He can go get you 10, 15 yards, move the sticks, get outside the pocket, throw on the run. He's a very accurate passer. So I'm actually really not too worried about Jarrett Stidham today. And here's the other reason why I'm not too worried about him. It is his third year in the Sean Payton system. Sean Payton, playing with a backup quarterback who has been in his system 2 years or more, is 9-3. He has a history of producing winning teams and winning games with quarterbacks that have been in his system for more than a couple of years. Stidham knows this system inside and out. Yes, he hasn't been getting many reps. I understand it's the AFC Championship. The bigger question for me is, can Denver run the ball today? Because we didn't really try last week. I think we had 10 true handoffs last week in the game. Everything else was a drop back or the sweep to Bo that got Bo's ankle broken. So if we can get the running game going, if we can get 4 or 5 yards a carry early and take some pressure off of Stidham and give him a few easy throws, this can be a game that we can win in a low-scoring manner and turn over to the defense. Because Drake May hasn't seen this kind of a pass rush, and we have enough in the defensive backfield to where he's probably going to throw at least one pick today. I expect the Broncos to get 2 turnovers today. Remember, they got 5 last week. If they can get some short fields, that place is going to be rocking. I know it's cold as hell there today. The temperature, the real feels like right around 0. I think the wind chill is right around 0 today. Potential snow flurries in the back end of the game. But that place is going to be loud. It'll be the toughest environment May has played in all year. This is also, by the way, do you guys know this is like, I think the first time all year they have gone west of the Mississippi for New England? Like, it's kind of wild.
Doesn't surprise me.
That does not surprise me at all.
There's a lot of teams west of the Mississippi, though, in the league. That's kind of wild. It's kind of crazy. So, and then you add in the fact that it's already hard to adjust to the air. It's harder to breathe when it's cold, especially when it's very, very cold outside. So I think it catches up. I'm going to lean a little bit on history here, too, that Denver is 4-0 in the playoffs against the Patriots all time in Denver. They have never lost to the Pats in Denver. In fact, the Broncos are the one team that Tom Brady has a losing record to. And I remind my Patriots buddy of that all the freaking time. I think the Broncos win a low-scoring 20-16 type game.
I do think you kind of hit on my other big point, but I do think if you guys kind of either blow out the turnover battle or we saw it in the FCS and FBS title games, you get a big special teams play. Could be enough.
We get Pat Bryant back today, too. Now, I'm concerned about that because he's had 2 concussions in about 3 weeks. But he is going to play today, apparently, which helps because I think we look at the Bills game last week. We played the majority of that game without our second and fourth receiver. Like, Lil Jordan Humphrey was our second best receiver on the field at most of the game. That's not ideal.
Longhorn legend.
Top name too.
Yeah.
All right. We wanted to close. Scott, you wanted to talk about hockey.
Well, I think we need to talk about LV Hockey Night on Saturday.
Yeah.
Which Three of
Brad,
us are going to be out because no more than three of us can be at any one place at any one time.
yeah, Seth will
I'm
be
not
in the
sure.
bumper.
Yeah, I figured you guys needed to talk about when tailgate starts and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so we'll do tailgate will start around 5. We might be there a little earlier, but like that's set up and stuff. BYOB, bring your own stuff. Bring a chair if you feel like sitting down. We'll have food. You're welcome to bring more stuff. Food and drink wise, the more the merrier. Got about 50 to 75 people, I think, that we got signed up right now. Usually have some stragglers kind of wandering into. Games at 7. I'll send out information on like when you need to be for the fan tunnel and all that good stuff. I'm doing the Zamboni drawing tomorrow, so we'll find that out. Game puck drops at 7. They have like a Curtis McKenzie giveaway. His guy who's played for the Stars
Yeah, I
for
mean, he's
time
been here,
immemorial.
I think 12, 13 years now, something like that. It's
Yeah,
been a long time.
sort of the Crash Davis of the Texas Stars.
He makes a good salary, man. I think he makes somewhere north of $500,000 to play for the Texas Stars every
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
year.
Pretty good for a minor league hockey deal. Had some good. I'll try to drop them in the show notes too. We had an awesome like child hockey fight at the Hershey Bears a couple weeks ago, where like they have kids play hockey in between periods, and it's cute and fun, and like these kids just all started wailing on each other. And I think this is the second year in a row they've done this, but there's like some great shots of like the actual fight itself. It's not just a footnote. There's like good video.
I think the goalies ended
Know
up
the
meeting up
assignment and
too.
come in and plow out each other.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Square off. We did get to see the rare goalie fight. There's a rule in the NHL now where if you're a goalie and you cross the center line, you get like an additional suspension or an additional penalty or something. So that's they've cut a lot of that out. But we got like a full, not even a hesitation. Occasionally they'll like square off across the red line, but neither of them will go like, yeah. I think it was the Sharks goalie. Just straight up like, nope, don't give a shit. Cross, because they're brawling in the corner. He's like, I gotta help my boys out.
It was justified though, because the other goalie had started the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
So I felt that was actually completely justified.
Yeah, and I should have grabbed his name before we started, but the Sharks goalie becomes one of, I think, 6 goalies of all time to have a career Gordie Howe hat trick as a goalie. He has a goal and assist and a fight.
Nice.
So it's good times to watch hockey. Maybe we'll jump on here and do like an Olympic preview because that's coming up. Team
Well,
USA,
if they have the rink ready, we'll see.
yeah. Team USA looking good. Obviously, the favorites are always Canada, but we'll do a little deeper dive on the roster. Some surprises for us in Canada. If Canada plays Jordan Bennington, who's currently giving up 1 billion goals a game, like we might actually have a shot. We'll see.
Yeah. We should also, I mean, we also have our other fun things in the Olympics. We have curling, we have bobsledding, where we have seen some horrendous practice runs. Like the Winter Olympics always have some fun surprises. I'm sure there'll be something silly that happens in figure skating that will take over the world for 36 hours, because it almost always does.
The Winter
Well,
Olympics
I
was
feel
so
like
much
the
fun.
Winter Olympics just has a lot of sports that you're just like, why did somebody think to do that? And it's like, and a lot of them are just because like there's no one ice and people want to go fast. And I think generally that causes a lot of chaos, which is fine. I mean, the Winter Olympics has as an event where you shoot and ski.
Yeah, the biathlon is one of the greatest events.
But I mean,
that is
It's so much fun to watch.
God, I fall into this trap every fucking Winter Olympics where you're like, oh, shooting and skiing, this is going to be awesome.
no, it's
All they
boring.
do is cross country ski, and then they like
Yeah.
take out their little backpack, and then they plink a little like tiny shooter, and then they fucking move again. It's not as awesome as it sounds.
No. Curling, though, I will watch for hours.
Yes, curling's great.
And if I
To
watch
be fair,
darts,
this is a
if I
pro
watch
darts.
the darts, I'm going to watch curling.
Yeah.
Right? So this is especially because they both do the same thing, right? You're shooting at a target in the middle while you're drinking. It's the same concept.
I mean, how much money could we make turning curling into more like the World Dart Championship, though? Because I feel like we
Yes.
could make a lot. It'd be in Toronto every year, obviously.
Yeah.
If we could chant and sing and do fancy dress, then yes.
But part of the problem with curling for watching curling is that you usually have 4 sheets going at once. So it is just like, it's kind of crazy. Like you can't all focus on, it's like, are they going to get 6 points? Woo! Oh, boo.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of like finality and rapidity to the darts that allows you to kind of like cheer and then disengage and then re-cheer and then kind of pick it back up. It's a little harder with curling.
Okay. Hearts have just equalized up in Scotland.
Luke Littler, by the way, has followed up his world championship with a win at the I think it was the Saudi Arabian Championship recently, Saudi Arabian Masters.
Yeah, you know a sport is legit when you have your what you call it, your pink washing, your money washing season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because they immediately went to Bahrain and Saudi
Saudi Arabia,
Arabia. Played back-to-back tournaments in like 3 days or 4 days or
yeah.
whatever
In
it
the
was.
winter season.
Yeah.
I'm just like surprised that a sport that is so associated with alcohol is allowed in Saudi Arabia.
So the funny thing about the matches in Saudi Arabia is everybody else around the world was so pissed watching it because I was actually keeping up with it. My buddy has a subscription. I was watching it through his. And if you look at social media, people were so pissed off at the crowd because they were also reserved in Saudi Arabia. Nobody was chanting or singing or
Not a single fucking Waldo to be seen.
Well, I mean, like we went through and we went to the darts. We went through a full body search. Like, I mean, people would pay for that in some countries with how much we were getting touched. In Saudi Arabia, I have to imagine like the list of things that are not allowed there.
Oh yeah.
No
Probably like a
fun.
2-hour security search.
No fun. All right. Well, I mean, we'll do another full more in-depth preview when we get kind of finalized rosters, and we do have the exhibition match after hockey night. So get your warm clothes washed.
Oh yeah, I
You get
gotta
out of
find
the
a ticket
freeze.
for that.
I'll be there.
It will not be difficult to find tickets for that.
No. You
But
probably
you know
find
what? This is what the first time that Austin FC has hosted a preseason match that's actually open, semi-open to the public in 6 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. They did that like practice thing that was kind of
Yes.
interesting.
But this is like this
No.
is a match-ish, and everyone cue the overreactions.
Yeah, we'll have
Oh,
plenty
yeah.
of
People are
guys.
gonna freak out when we play like some weird rotated lineup that makes no sense, and yeah, so it'll
Yeah,
be
they
fun.
did.
We only drew to San Antonio 0-0 in a boring game. Did you look at the rosters?
Yeah, it was like 3/4 FC2.
Yeah, we played a guy who was playing at Akron 6 months ago.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to cover that. I do want to do a little bit of a diatribe on the FC2 schedule, but we're gonna have to save that for another day.
The all Sunday schedule, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna save that for a full episode, and I have to go prepare to hate Scott for 2 hours.
Yeah. What were our final results from the other matches? I turned off Chelsea because they were just murdering.
Chelsea won 3-1. Morton got sent off.
Villa won against Newcastle.
Brentford losing at home to Nottingham is kind of wild.
Makes me feel a little bit better about last weekend, but
Yeah.
Arsenal Online was not fun between Saturday and Tuesday, let me tell you.
Uh,
Not that it's ever fun, but
I was gonna say, I don't think it's like you guys are the most nervous, neurotic folks in the world until you actually clinch the league. It is the level of stress you're going to have in your lives that's going to be something else.
yeah. So like if that goes down to the final day, like servers are gonna explode.
Yeah.
We need to check in with our friend and listener Audius Silva, by the way, when he gets back. I think he left for England a day or two ago, but I think he's going to Aston Villa versus Salzburg this week.
Yes.
In Europe.
Yeah, Europa League. Villa's already clinched top two, or they've already clinched top 8, so it's not that big of a match for them. But I think for Salzburg, it's like a do or die match.
Yeah, he's never been to a European match, so he's pretty excited.
No, at Villa Park, I haven't been to Villa Park, and I've heard nice things.
It's been better in recent years for obvious reasons.
Yes. Actually, so Salzburg is, they need to win to stay alive. They're in 28th in the Europa League, and they're 2 points behind. So, like, that's actually going to be a very fun setup. And if you're Aston Villa, you probably want to you have a chance if they were to win and Lyon plays PAOK, the team with the most flares in all of Europe, but it's at home. They could actually win the table be the league phase champions, which means absolutely nothing in these tournaments.
As the soon to be crowned Champions League phase champions, and your team was last year.
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of trophies on the wall at Anfield. The league phase Champions League one is not. I mean, West Ham would raise it as a trophy. Spurs would raise it as a trophy. Also, the Liverpool women finally won a game today and beating Spurs.
Good. Dr. Tottenham strikes again.
The Spurs men or women?
This is women. Again, like Liverpool women had 4 points in 12 matches coming into today, and they beat the Spurs women 2-0. Absolutely.
Also, I was going to say, Devin, like, yes, we're not going to like each other for 2 hours, but United have a chance to go top four, and their record in these games in the last like 5 years is completely devoid of wins, and usually at best is a draw. So y'all are going to be fine.
Stop trying to reverse jinx. So as you guys know, I've been putting money on Manchester City to win every Premier League game so far this season, or this year, 2026. Yesterday was the first time that I won money on them. So I put money on, to make up for it, I put money on Arsenal not winning. So either a Man United win or draw. And I basically get like 2.5 times payout.
This is smart. I like this.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to
the
keep
question is, like, if Arsenal does win the league, are you going to be more excited or relieved at this point?
There's going to be a lot of relief. I don't know what order all of this stuff's going to come in. Like, I'm going to be super fucking obnoxious for a while. I'll be relieved. I'll be excited. We'll see how that kind of like jumble plays out. I don't know. We'll see in real time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go to a match in April, which is getting increasingly difficult. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Ooh, oh god, that should have been 2-1 Hearts, but Celtic had an awesome block there at the end.
Yeah.
CBS Sports Network for the last 30 plus of this.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna stop boring the people here.
Yeah.
All right. So on behalf of Seth, Brad, and Scott, thanks for suffering with us. Bye.
Thomas here for Austin Jarrett Stroud. It's Diego, for goodness! He has written his name into Austin folklore.
They just won't go away.
Oh, he hits the upright again. That's impossible.
The Bears' season's going to end on a double doink.
Altidore squares it. Dempsey's missed it. Donovan has it. From hope, there is glory.